Hello, my project is about Maja Kleczewska's 2019 Hamlet/Gamlет. First, I would like to list some major features of the production which I find particularly salient. It's transcultural, multi-ethnic, multilingual, international, intermedial, experimental, and site-specific. Of the many issues it touches upon, it comments on, among others, ways of spectating and audiences' participation, ontological status of actors/characters and spectators, migration, the other. Now, the paper is structured along three major problems I would like to address: space, spectating, the other, and finally, as a coda, a note will be dropped on some potential agenda for future research. Now, the space of the production is that of Stara Rzeźnia, in English, Old Abattoir in Poznań, a dilapidated building from the early 1900s when it was constructed. And it was used as an abattoir well until the 1990s. After that, it was architecturally marginalized or turned, if you like, into an architectural other, and has ever since been used as a site for artistic projects. As Natalia quickly observes, the space has been relocalized as a culturally central one. Now, nonetheless, it continues to be haunted by butchery, which ideally should not exist in a civilized world, thus symbolizing its downfall, or to use an example that Kleczewska incorporates into the text of her play, the ruins of Europe, the topos that she quotes from Heine Miller's Hamlet machine. The space is not divided into a traditional stage and auditorium. The audience is invited to share and occupy it with the actors and musicians. The action simultaneously develops in different localities, as many as 3 at a time, with spectators choosing which scene they want to watch and or listen to, which of course affects spectating. And as Anna Wołosz-Sosnowska notes, it redefines the dynamics of reception. Kleczewska and Łukasz Chotowski, her dramaturge, wanted their Hamlet to be action, which emphasizes the participatory role of the audience. Spectators are not supposed to be passive. They are required to make an effort in the production, follow actors, but also occasionally literally elbow their way through a crowd surrounding a particular scene. As a result, they interact not only with the actors/characters, but also with each other. At the same time, however, they are not expected to fully immerse into the production. As Kleczewska claims, the fourth wall in the production is preserved. What matters in the process of spectating is the significance of listening. It's made possible thanks to technology. The spectators wear headphones, which allow them to orally access the stages, which they're not watching, and they can do so by switching to a selected auditory channel. Now, this amounts to what Anna Kowalczyk-Pawlik calls soundscape, that determines the perception of the production. Ultimately, it is the audiosphere that becomes the most reliable tool in the creation of meaning in this play. As Kowalczyk-Pawlik further notes, sound becomes an element which has a fundamental significance not only in constructing stage signs and offstage references, it becomes the most fundamental experience of theatre. It becomes a way of opening up to the other. The other, which is a symbol of particularly the old world falling apart, the world that was constructed as homogeneous, now must give way to one filled with variety and difference. And it's visible, for example, in the casting. The actors are of different national and ethnic backgrounds. They use and speak different languages. And the most symbolic figure in that respect, variety and diversity, is the character of Fortinbras in Kleczewska's production. And the reason why is because Fortinbras here is not only a collective character consisting of three figures, but those three figures are of different ethnic and national backgrounds, speak different languages, and on top of that, they are multi-gendered, which, in view of the fact that Fortinbras is a character particularly important in the Polish Hamlets since 1945, functioning as a sort of litmus test reflecting the political situation in the country. As a result, in Kleczewska's multilingual, multi-ethnic, and multi-gender version of Fortinbras, the character becomes particularly telling and indicative of the need for, or maybe already occurring, social changes. Other example of the approaches to the other in the play include gender, include age. Here, Teresa Kwiatkowska's Ophelia is possibly the oldest character on stage. The actress, when performing that part, was over 60. And another marginalized group that Kleczewska puts into spotlight is that are the disabled. In the character of Horatio, represented as a figure confined to a wheelchair with a heavily twisted body, speech dysfunction. At the same time, however, he is given a very powerful agency in the play, as he is in Kleczewska's mind, the political mastermind in the production. Now, as far as the agenda for future research is concerned, well, one has to bear in mind the fact that Kleczewska belongs to the generation of directors who started to regularly stage plays at the beginning of the 21st century, like Jan Klata or Agata Duda-Grabsch. A generation which followed the emergence of a group of directors who began to work in the 1990s, such as Grzegorz Jarzyna or Krzysztof Walikowski, and who significantly affected the nature of Polish theatre. Like those directors, she has also directed plays by Shakespeare so far, which have been, the subject of scholarly and critical debates. So, as a result, the agenda for future research might include such problems as tracing how Kleczewska is going to use Shakespeare in the years to come, to comment on the nature of theatre, which is a very characteristic feature of her oeuvre, and the changes of a Central European society, or maybe relating Kleczewska's theatre to the artistic vision of the directors of her generation, their uses of the Shakespearean text, and or further exploring avant-garde and experimental approaches to Shakespeare in Poland, especially in the context of younger directors challenging, or perhaps not, the masters. Thank you very much.